On a chilly autumn evening in Boston, Emily Harper pulled her scarf tighter as she hurried down the familiar streets of her neighborhood. The golden glow of streetlights illuminated her path, and the crisp air carried the faint scent of fallen leaves. As she approached the corner where her favorite bookstore, The Open Page, stood, she noticed a figure huddled on the steps outside. It was a man, wrapped in tattered layers, his head bowed against the wind. Emily had seen him before, a quiet presence in the neighborhood. But tonight, something about him caught her attention. There was a quiet dignity in his posture, a resilience that shone through his worn appearance. She hesitated, torn between caution and compassion. He looked to be in his late 50s, with silver streaks in his dark hair and deep lines etched into his face, each one a testament to a life of untold stories. After a moment of internal debate, Emily stepped closer. "Hi," she said softly, her voice warm but tentative. "It's getting cold out here." The man looked up, his hazel eyes meeting hers with a mix of surprise and wariness. "It is," he replied, his voice rough, like gravel smoothed by time. Emily shifted her weight, her resolve strengthening. "I'm on my way home, and it's warm there. Would you like to come in for a hot drink? Maybe rest for a bit?" His eyes widened, studying her with an intensity that made her wonder what he saw. Kindness, pity, or something else entirely. She hoped it was kindness. "That's awfully generous of you," he said, his tone tinged with gratitude. "I'm James, by the way. James Carter." "Emily Harper," she replied, offering a smile. "Come on, it's just around the corner." As they walked, Emily stole glances at James, intrigued by the quiet strength in his stride. When they reached her cozy apartment, she unlocked the door and gestured for him to enter. The warmth of the room enveloped them, a stark contrast to the biting chill outside. Her apartment was small but inviting, with mismatched furniture, colorful throw pillows, and a bookshelf overflowing with novels and sketchbooks. "Make yourself at home," Emily said, heading to the kitchen to brew coffee. She pushed aside the flicker of doubt creeping in, concerns about safety, about inviting a stranger into her space. Yet something in her heart told her this was right. James settled onto the couch, his eyes scanning the room with quiet appreciation. "Nice place," he said, pausing at a framed photo of a younger Emily with her parents. "Feels like a home." "Thanks," Emily replied, returning with 2 steaming mugs. "It's not much, but it's mine." They sat in companionable silence, the coffee warming their hands. Emily felt a spark of connection, a shared humanity that transcended their different circumstances. "So, what brings you to this neighborhood?" she asked, her curiosity genuine. James hesitated, as if weighing how much to share. "I used to live around here, years ago. Life's taken me on a winding road since then." "Life has a way of doing that," Emily said, sensing the weight behind his words. "If you ever need a place to warm up, you're welcome here." "Thank you," James said, his voice soft with sincerity. "That means more than you know." As the evening unfolded, they talked, their conversation weaving through stories and shared moments. Emily felt a quiet contentment settle over her. She didn't know why she'd reached out to James, but she was certain their paths had crossed for a reason, a chance encounter that might change them both. In the soft glow of the lamplight, Emily and James sat at her small kitchen table, the hum of conversation filling the air. James cradled his mug, absorbing its warmth, his eyes tracing the vibrant artwork on the walls and the carefully curated bookshelf in the corner. "So, Emily," James began, leaning back with a faint smile, "what made you invite a stranger in on a night like this?" "Not that I'm complaining," he added, his chuckle warm and low. Emily shrugged, a blush creeping into her cheeks. "I just wanted to help. It's hard to see someone struggling and do nothing. Besides, she added with a playful grin, you didn't seem too dangerous. James laughed, the sound lighting up his weathered face. Good to know. I promise I'm harmless, just a bit rough around the edges. Emily nodded, her gaze thoughtful. We all have our struggles. Sometimes a little kindness can go a long way. James studied her, his eyes searching. You've got a good heart, Emily. Not many would open their door to someone like me. Her chest warmed at his words. They fell into easy conversation, sharing stories that flowed like a river. James spoke of his days as a firefighter, his eyes sparkling as he described the camaraderie of the station and the adrenaline of racing into burning buildings. Emily could see the pride he once carried. What made you leave? She asked gently, sensing there was more to the story. James's expression grew pensive. Life changes you. I lost friends on the job and it hit hard. Then, after my wife passed, things just unraveled. Emily's heart ached at the grief in his voice. She knew how loss could linger, heavy and unyielding. I'm so sorry, James. That sounds incredibly tough. It was, he admitted, a flicker of vulnerability in his tone. But you keep going, even when it feels impossible. What about you? James asked, turning the focus to her. What's your story? Emily smiled, surprised by the question. Not as exciting. I grew up in Boston, went to art school, and now I'm a graphic designer. It's a good job, but I've always felt like there's something more I'm meant to do, like making a difference. Like helping people, James suggested. Maybe, Emily replied, a thoughtful note in her voice. I've always wanted to, but it's hard to know where to start. You've already started, James said, his tone warm. Tonight's proof of that. Their conversation stretched late into the night, the hours slipping away unnoticed. As James prepared to leave, Emily hesitated. You know, you're welcome to stay here tonight. It's warmer than outside. James's eyes searched hers, finding no trace of reluctance. I'd appreciate that, Emily. Thank you. She gathered blankets and a pillow, setting them on the couch. If you need anything, just let me know. I will, James replied, his voice a low rumble that seemed to echo the quiet of the room. As Emily retreated to her bedroom, a sense of peace settled over her. Inviting James into her home felt like aligning with some invisible thread of fate. With that thought, she drifted off to sleep, unaware of the journey that lay ahead, a journey that would intertwine their lives in ways she could never have imagined. Morning light streamed through the curtains, bathing the apartment in a golden glow. Emily awoke to the rich aroma of freshly brewed coffee, a pleasant surprise. Stretching, she felt a quiet contentment, the kind that comes from a restful night and the promise of something meaningful. In the kitchen, she found James by the stove, a pot of coffee in hand, and a gentle smile on his face. Good morning, he greeted, gesturing to a mug he'd set out. Hope you don't mind. Thought I'd get things started. Emily chuckled, accepting the coffee. You're spoiling me. I'm usually the one making breakfast. James shrugged, a playful glint in his eyes. Consider it my thank you. They settled into an easy rhythm, sharing scrambled eggs and toast as the aroma of coffee filled the air. So, James, Emily began, sipping her coffee, what made you become a firefighter? James leaned back, his expression thoughtful. As a kid, I was fascinated by stories of heroes, people risking everything to save others. It felt like a calling. And did it live up to that? Emily asked, intrigued by the passion in his voice. In many ways, yes, James replied, a hint of nostalgia creeping in. There's nothing like the bond of a firehouse or the rush of a rescue. You're part of something bigger than yourself. His eyes grew distant, and Emily sensed a pang of longing. "Any favorite stories?" she asked, hoping to keep things light. James grinned, leaning forward. "Plenty. Once we got a call about a cat stuck in a tree. We showed up with ladders, the works, only to find a stuffed animal some kid had tossed up there. We laughed about that for weeks." Emily laughed, the image vivid in her mind. "Not every call's a dramatic rescue, huh?" "Nope, but those moments remind you to keep perspective," James said, his smile warm. As they shared stories, Emily found herself captivated by James's anecdotes, tales of courage, humor, and heart. In turn, she shared her own experiences as a designer, including a quirky campaign for a cereal brand that ended in a predictable sunrise over a bowl ad. "Sounds like the kind of letdown we all face sometimes," James chuckled. Their conversation flowed effortlessly, erasing the boundaries of time. Emily opened up about her dreams and uncertainties, while James's perspective, shaped by years of hardship, offered her a new lens on the world. By afternoon, she felt a deep fulfillment, a reminder that connection and kindness could spark unexpected friendships. Determined to help James beyond a single night, Emily visited her friend Clara Thompson at the open page. Clara, with her warm smile and wise insights, was always a source of guidance. The bookstore, with its wooden shelves and soft lighting, felt like a haven as Emily stepped inside. "Morning, Emily," Clara called from behind the counter, organizing a stack of novels. "What's up?" "I need your advice," Emily said, returning the smile. They moved to a cozy corner, the glow of reading lamps casting a warm ambiance. "I've been helping a man named James," Emily explained. "He's homeless, and I let him stay at my place last night. He's a former firefighter who's been through a lot. Lost his wife, his stability. I want to do more, but I'm not sure how without overstepping." Clara nodded, her expression attentive. "That's a big step, offering him shelter. What's on your mind?" "I want to help him rebuild, but I don't want to push him into anything he's not ready for," Emily said, tracing the spine of a nearby book. Clara's gaze was thoughtful. "It's natural to want to help, but sensitivity is key. People in James's position often carry pride and may resist assistance. Be a steady presence. Encourage him to explore professional support, like counseling or job programs, and keep offering a safe space." Emily nodded, absorbing the advice. "That makes sense. I've been thinking about resources, but I didn't want to seem intrusive." "Balance is everything," Clara said, placing a hand on Emily's shoulder. "You're already making a difference. Keep listening, and let him guide what he needs." Clara handed Emily a list of local organizations, job training programs, counseling services, and shelters. "These might help. Approach it gently and trust your instincts." "Thank you, Clara," Emily said, tucking the list into her bag. "This means a lot." "Anytime," Clara replied with a warm smile. "You're doing something special, Emily." With renewed purpose, Emily returned home, the weight of her decision lighter. James was there, flipping through a novel from her shelf, his expression thoughtful. "Hey, James," she said, setting the list on the table. "I talked to a friend today, and she had some ideas for resources that might help." James looked up, curiosity in his eyes. "Sounds promising. I'm open to anything that could move things forward." Emily smiled, feeling a spark of optimism. "Great. Let's go through these together and see what feels right." As they reviewed the list, the morning sunlight bathed the room in warmth. Emily knew their journey was just beginning, but each step felt like progress toward a brighter future. The days that followed were a flurry of activity. Emily and James fell into a routine, balancing job searches, counseling sessions, and practical steps to help James regain stability. One crisp afternoon, They took a break to walk through a nearby park, the autumn leaves crunching underfoot. As they strolled, their conversation turned to the past. James, feeling a growing trust, decided to share a pivotal memory. "There's one call from my firefighting days that's always stayed with me," he began, his voice steady but emotional. 20 years ago, there was a fire in a residential building. A little girl was trapped upstairs. Her mother was desperate, begging us to save her. Emily listened, sensing the weight of the story. James continued, his eyes distant. "We got her out, but it was close. I'll never forget her mother's face, or how fragile life felt in that moment." He paused, meeting Emily's gaze. "I didn't realize it until I saw a photo of you at the community center. But that little girl was you." Emily's breath caught, her mind racing. "Me? I don't remember much, just being scared. My parents said a firefighter saved me, but that was you?" James nodded, a somber smile on his lips. "Life's funny like that. Meeting you again felt like fate, like we were meant to cross paths." Emily reached for his hand, her voice soft. "I'm so grateful for what you did, and for us meeting again. It feels like there's a purpose to all of this." They sat in silence, the weight of their shared history deepening their bond. As they resumed their walk, the connection between them was stronger, their purpose clearer. James's revelation gave him renewed drive, a desire to honor the past by building a better future. Weeks later, the job fair loomed as a pivotal moment. Held in a bustling convention hall downtown, it was a sea of booths and hopeful job seekers. James, armed with a polished resume and letters of recommendation, walked with a newfound confidence, Emily by his side. The day was a whirlwind of workshops, networking, and promising conversations. At one booth, a recruiter from a construction firm took interest in James's experience, suggesting a project coordinator role. James took the recruiter's card, his face alight with possibility. "That's a solid lead," Emily said as they walked away. "It sounds like a great fit." "I think so too," James replied, his excitement palpable. "I'll follow up tomorrow." As the fair ended, they sat in a quiet corner, reviewing the day's successes. "Today felt like a turning point," James said, his voice filled with hope. "I'm starting to see a path forward." Emily smiled, pride swelling in her chest. "You're doing amazing, James. I'm so proud of you." The call came on a crisp morning, the sunlight filtering through the curtains. James answered, his voice rising with disbelief. "Really? That's incredible news. Thank you." He hung up, turning to Emily with a grin. "The construction company offered me the job, project coordinator. It's exactly what I was hoping for." Emily's face lit up. "That's amazing, James. This is huge." They toasted with coffee, the weight of uncertainty lifting. James started the job the following week, quickly becoming a valued team member. He also began volunteering at a local community center, using his skills to give back. One evening, as they sat on Emily's balcony, the city lights twinkling below, James turned to her. "None of this would have happened without you, Emily. You gave me a chance when I needed it most." Emily's gaze softened. "It's been an honor to be part of your journey. Seeing you thrive means everything." James looked out at the skyline, his voice thoughtful. "Life's strange. From that fire to this moment, it feels like a full circle." Emily nodded. "Sometimes the unexpected paths lead to the best destinations." As the stars shone above, they sat in peaceful silence, their bond a testament to resilience, kindness, and the power of second chances. James's journey had come full circle, from struggle to hope, and Emily had been his steadfast ally. Together, they faced the future with open hearts, ready for whatever lay ahead.